Are we doing official top fives?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I
I
guess
think it's
so. We
that time. I
probably
think
need
it's
to crank
that
them out.
time.
Do we just skip past number one quickly? Is it even a debate? Do we all agree?
Oh, like I think so. I don't know though. I think so.
I know we just met Devon, but is it The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good, good, for sure.
Okay. I know.
Yeah, we
I was
actually
like,
had a mutual
this
friend.
is a
We
very big test.
because
Go
we
ahead, my
had a
man.
mutual friend who we
Field
had to
pass.
argue about that being the best movie. I think he liked the Dark Knight Rises or not the first one. I think he liked
It
the
was
first one
begins.
first.
Yeah, it was
Batman
very
Yeah, the
Begins.
interesting.
Dark Knight Begins. Yeah,
It's like
it was like,
I was
nah, I
like,
don't.
get out of here,
It's like the
old
first one was
man.
alright in that, but yeah, it was not the movie.
Nah, that movie had me
Um,
pissed when I was a kid. I was like, yo, he's Batman for 10 seconds. Like, what is this? But I was 6. So like I was like, I didn't or like 9, I guess. I didn't understand the premise of an origin story. I was like, wait, this
Mm.
was not
that's
Batman.
tough.
He does
But
crush the intro scene though in that. The Batman intro
yeah.
on the docks. All timer.
Yeah, bro. Like as I when I rewatched it, I had a lot more appreciation of it. Like I
Yeah, it
went
holds
back and
up.
I watched I actually watched it out of order. I watched the Dark Knight Rises and then I went back to Begins. So it was cool
Mm.
to go through like it was a weird way to watch it, but like to go to the beginning after being at the end, I was like, oh, this is sweet. This is sweet.
Do you think
But yeah,
Batman Begins is better than Dark Knight Rises? I think I like Rises a little bit better.
I still like Rises. I just think
Mm.
Tom Hardy's performance is
Yeah.
fantastic. Like bro, like his quotes are like just great.
Yeah.
Like you really adopted the dog. I was born in it. I was like, oh, this guy's
Yeah,
different, right?
yeah. It was
And
on
he's
another.
doing that following up the Joker too. Like
Yeah,
the
bro.
second one,
Like,
and I mean it's not the Joker, but he holds up. He hangs. It's a
no,
good villain.
exactly. That's a
Underrated.
good point. That's a good point. Like, yo, following like that, like legendary performance to still have like to still pull that off and be part of like the cultural zeitgeist in that way. That's a really good point. I didn't thought about it as in like following the Heath Ledger like
Mm.
from that perspective. That's a really good point.
All right, so
Do we
who do we have at number two here? What do we got?
I
I'm
have
interested to hear what you
Inception.
say.
I have
Hmm.
Inception as 2.
Okay.
Sam, which one did you have too?
Four, but I have Dunkirk at two. I really
You
just
have
love
Dunkirk.
You're a Dunkirk stan. You really like
very
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk fan.
You really like Dunkirk.
Hmm.
Rem, what's your 2?
I feel like on like a personal just rewatch rankings, I've found myself I don't know, I find myself going back to Tenet about as much as any
Tenet is,
Chris.
Wow,
bro. Tenet is fun, bro.
it
Tenet is a
is.
Tenet is
fun
so
movie,
much fun to watch.
Wow,
bro. I'm
it
not
is.
mad at that at all. That's honestly, I feel like Tenet is probably the one I'd struggle to put on my list like more than Oppenheimer, because
Hmm.
like because
Interesting.
it's because Tenet is definitely like it's like flawed, but
Hmm.
like it's so fun. Like
Yeah.
I was like people like after I watched Tenet, like, oh, what's Tenet about? I can't tell you, but I had a
I
great
have no
time when I watched
idea.
it.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I have a great time.
It definitely
And
has some of the best action movies that Nolan has cranked out in terms of like, watching, John David Washington and, doing
mm,
that whole like backward time. Visually, it's probably that's why it's so high on. I mean, I have it top five, but yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, bro. Tenet's fantastic, bro. Like I have a friend, like he's like researched like what Tenet means. He's deep on the Reddit. Like my homie loves Tenet. He's such a movie guy. Like remember, I have to have you like I don't think Sam, you've met him either. Y'all have to meet him. Like he's
mm.
super dope and like loves talking movies. He's like I think Tarantino might be his favorite director, but he loves Nolan too.
Ooh.
Um, but
All right, so who do we have at three?
I think for me, I think this is where Oppenheimer goes.
I think I agree with you. And I think I would consider putting it two because I mean, is this gonna just is Oppenheimer gonna end up being like Nolan's most important movie? Just like what do you think is gonna happen with this movie come awards season? Because I mean, we're getting
Oh,
a good look now. I mean, the important movies are still gonna come out over the winter and the fall, but just from what has already come out and what we've seen, it seems like this movie's gonna do fairly well. It's in a prime position to
yeah.
be. I mean, he's only had what one director nomination at this point, two picture noms. feels like he'll lock both of those down, and I think he has a real shot to win.
Yeah, I think I do too, and I think it's his most outside of like Dunkirk, it's probably his most like traditional like Oscar like
Yeah.
winning type of movie, right? Like this is Oscar bait. I'm not saying that's why he
Mm-hmm.
made the film, but like this is like the stuff that it's like a very like highbrow like type of movie where it's like it's the technique, it's the filmmaking. They've done a good job with the marketing, like really talking about building the story behind making that too, which I feel like a lot of just like movie people love, like the idea of like, oh, the film is 11 miles long, the like all that stuff. Like, I think, yeah, I definitely think it might be. I don't know. I struggle with most important. It might be most important for him, like,
For his career,
um,
like
for
for
his
his
career.
legacy.
Yeah, I think so. But I think to me, I think like Dark Knight
Yeah.
will still stand because of like what it does. Like, bro, like now we have a whole bunch of anti-hero stories and like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
all our superheroes are dark and gritty and all that stuff. But I feel like Dark Knight is really the one that's like, bro, anytime, even right now, like I
Yeah.
just played it like call the dogs on me. In my head, I'm like, yes. Like, bro, like I just think
Our
that like,
hockey pads.
yeah, Spider-Man, holy shit.
Spider-Man.
Like
Where's
all that,
Wow?
bro. Like yes, yes, like all that. So I think like that in terms of like the importance of like what it does for movies. I think that probably will stand.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
I think like as in terms of like awards and stuff like that, and like announcing, like I do think like this is his announcement for anybody that is in that kind of like highbrow crowd. Like, no, I'm a master of this craft. This is like a very like master of craft type of movie. And I think that might be why, to a point, like if he does have a point to prove, that might be why there's not the action. Like it's not relying on the set pieces and all that stuff that he does so well. It's not relying on that. It's like, no, I can tell a story in a dope way. And I think that's my favorite part about filmmaking. Like is making something that seems like kind of just mundane, and if you can make that interesting, that's when it's like, okay, cool, like I can tell a story.
The
I
problem too, like,
come back to my point, your one of your points, Sam, popped in my
yeah.
head, but we don't need to do that now. Just I'll come back to you later.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Yeah, I
But
got something
Coming
for
up
you.
next, little
All
teaser.
right.
yes.
But this too, just like even on a bigger scale, like the problem with the Dark Knight, just in like a bigger movie conversation, is it got left out of all these award things. So if you're just like talking about what are the movies of like the decade, what sort of defined an era, like the Dark Knight has a case. But if Oppenheimer does do well at the Oscars, like I think right now it's early candidate for movie of the decade. Like just with, I mean, COVID is slowed that down at the beginning. So you get like 2020, even 2021, we're
Mhm,
still recovering a little bit. But I
mhm.
think the other one you could really make the case for is Top Gun Maverick. But
Yeah,
outside
that's
outside
exactly
of
the
that, I
other one
think
that
it's
popped in my
those
head.
two.
Yeah, and it's funny. That is exact one that popped in my head, and it's interesting because they're very different movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're honestly polar opposites. Like they're trying to do like very different things. Um, but yeah, I think Top Gun Maverick would be the other candidate. That's so funny, bro, because that is the exact other movie that pops in my head. Like people
Well, it was a
flock to
huge. I
movies,
mean, it was huge. It was like a
bro.
cultural. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, these two movies were the cultural moments, and yeah, Oppenheimer had Barbie going up against it, but it just feels like, especially with Nolan's pedigree, and Greta Gerwig is gonna, she's fantastic. She's gonna have an amazing
Yeah, for
career,
sure.
but I think Nolan, just being the more established filmmaker, I think would push him over the edge in terms of like awards and that movie being the movie of the moment. And I still think Dark Knight too. Like I would make the case for it as movie of the 2000s, but I mean, if you want to say
No,
old country for No Country for Old Men, I wouldn't debate. But Nolan has a chance to be like the director that directed the movie of the decade in two different decades,
yeah,
which
bro.
from an
Like
all-time
it's
standpoint would be
insane.
wild.
Bro, like I think like that's the thing, like even like looking at his like list, and like I have like them all up on my screen too, just to like I'm like, yo, bro, this is the movies you made, bro. These are all bangers. Like
Yeah.
I think that's the part. And I do think, like to your point though, I definitely think it has this could definitely be the movie of the decade. But I'm very interested to see Killer of the Flower Moon. Like, I think
Mm,
that's gonna be like we have a Scorsese coming this year too with Leo. So that's I'm not gonna slouch on that, but which it would be sucky if like Nolan got knocked out because of like some crazy like the Killer of the Flower Moon, but
yeah.
I'm not counting that out. But it's I mean that's a great problem as a fan. This is a great problem to have, right? Like, it was like, oh, what's the movie of the decade? Like a Nolan film or a Scorsese film. I'm like, I love this. Like, we
Yeah.
can have these conversations all day. Like, this is awesome. But like, I definitely like so far, I think it is, and this is interesting because like comparing to Top Gun Maverick, like because they're like really serving two different audiences, right? So
Yeah, I think with Oppenheimer, it is definitely a movie made for the industry, for people, not as much for I think the common viewer. I think that's why Barbie may have, beat it in terms of the numbers. But, when you look at like even our, like we keep mentioning in the previous podcast with Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, I mean, I think he has a pretty strong case to get Best Supporting Actor. But I mean, it
Yeah.
is the quintessential what you're looking for when you look at that kind of role. And then all the other stars in the movie. Yeah, I mean, my ranking is based off of my personal. Actually, do I want to watch this again? But when you do look at the artistry in this movie, like I mentioned, it's not a bad movie. I think it was very, in terms of on its own. I think it is. I could definitely see why people who really appreciate the conversation making the mundane interesting, would have it so high up. It's just, when you are more, it's personal taste as well, more of an action guy, more, beating them up and stuff. But I definitely understand why people have it so high. I mean, it is a Nolan, one of his best movies. Like, I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. And yeah, we'll have to see what the rest of the decade holds. But with the writer's strike and a whole lot of other strikes going on, it might be a while before we have some really great works of art come out again.
that's a good
Feel like
point.
Nolan
Oh,
just
that's a
out
good
of
point.
any sort of industry creator right now. He just have the highest hit rate? Who just has like a higher, just like more perfect sort of anything? Kendrick Lamar with his albums? I don't even know.
Oh, we're going like just so we're going like
Maybe
Just
dash.
Ari.
across
Like,
the
okay,
board.
yo,
Justin
nah,
Jefferson's
that's
seasons
I'm crying.
It's only had like
looks like he's
three
going
and
to
a
be
Let's
four
talk
and a half,
4-0
about.
two
for
grades.
amazing seasons.
Hey, bro, we're talking about. It's also be in this
Uh-huh.
conversation.
Yeah, he keeps it up.
Oh, yes, sir. Nah, bro. Like that's what I'm saying, bro. Like I really think, like, just looking at this list, and I think, and it might not feel this that way, is because I think there's like movies that people like that are like great that people really don't like, and then not to say that they're not good, but like people like I know there's a lot of people that hate Interstellar
Yeah.
because it's just like how could
Hmm.
that all come down to like it like everything comes down to like he was talking to her to a bookshelf. He's like a bookshelf could not be a climax to your movie. That is a direct quote from one of my friends. It's
Yeah,
like,
he's so out on it. I don't even. But that's my number three movie though. I mean, when
oh,
you
true.
look
Okay.
at the sound score, the actors in it, it's just and some of the artistry in it, and there's still like suspense. You're not 100% sure what's gonna happen. I guess that's another reason why with Oppenheimer it was a little bit harder to watch it than his other movies, which are tend to be fictional. Dunkirk is a little bit of a biopic, but not nearly as well known as the atomic bomb. So I guess that's another reason why I not dinged it. But yeah, I mean, I really liked Interstellar in terms of like he could just do whatever he wanted with that. Like some similar movies. There wasn't really like an IP even like The Dark Knight, and I thought I mean that music score is still probably my favorite. It's definitely up there.
No, for sure, bro. Like I feel like most of the Interstellar hate is like not unwarranted. I feel like they just people were tripping. They just didn't like how the movie ended. But no, I think it's fantastic. Oh, and then like remember what's on your point about the hit rate thing. Like, and I think also Kendrick
Hmm.
Lamar is a great comparison because like there's also like same thing. Like yo, like all of Kendrick's albums are great, but there's people that like really don't bang with like to Pimp a Butterfly or things like that. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
like the same. It's like that's a really good comp. That's a really good comp.
I would even throw if you just want to go another artist, I would throw J. Cole in there too. I know like what was the album?
Mm,
Born Sinner. I know that got like a little went a little underrated when that came out. That didn't get nominated for best album of the year, but and All Eyes for You. Am I getting that title right? Of that
oh,
album?
for your eyes only, I think it
For Your
is.
Eyes Only. That album went a
I
little
think
under the
so.
radar as well too.
It,
But I
yeah, it
enjoy all
did.
of
It
his stuff.
did.
But
That's another good one.
but Kendrick, yeah, like the industry loves has I think loved pretty much all of his albums. Did you like his last one?
Mhm. Yeah, I did. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I loved his last
I
album.
think to me, I thought it was good or like similar honestly similar to like in a way of like Oppenheimer
Mm,
and to bring it back
yeah,
like I think talking about like how like I think it was like mastery and I don't think like Nolan had to do all his other movies to get to that point. I think Kendrick had to do all his other like albums to get to this album. Like you might have other ones that are favorites, right? But I think to have the to have the conversations and to talk about the stuff that he was talking about, and then also make that a banger, like to do that, like I think that's the part that was like missing. Like he would have like the songs of the bangers, the song of the messages. I'm not saying missing. I'm not saying
yeah.
I'm not saying Kendrick. I'm not. Please, like, I'm not trying to. Please, nobody come at me. I'm not trying to come at Kendrick Lamar. Please, please. But I'm
Kendrick's
just
great.
saying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But like, but I think like it's like oh, bro, like father time and everything. It's like that is a heavy topic, and I will just throw it
Yeah.
on just to just bounce out, like just to like bang to it, like right. Like I think that's the part that I think he was always striving for, and I think like I think for the most part he was there, but I think like it seemed like this is where like it's like it completely clicked, right? And I think like so yeah, all that to say like I bang with it, I bang with it heavy.
Is Section 80 like Memento? People kind of forget about
Ooh,
it. Nobody ever goes
ooh,
back to it, but it's a banger.
ooh, ooh, this is good, bro. No, this is good. It like it sets it up, right? Like everything like you will see from that, like you can see the pieces in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bro, that's good. That's good.
I feel like
Um,
I probably listened to Section 80 and his newest album probably more this year than almost any of his other albums. I mean,
oh,
obviously
interesting.
all of his stuff is great, but yeah, I just kept going back to the old stuff and then the new stuff. I don't know if he's officially said he's retired, but if The Heart Part 5 was the last song he ever did, I'd be like, perfect. The song is just
It's like
that song.
it's okay.
Song's amazing.
It's okay. We got more out of you than we were deserved. It's good, man. You can
I know
go do
it's
your
like that would
thing.
just I'd put a bow on it. It'd be perfect. But I
But I
know
think yeah.
well I was gonna say just back to Nolan quickly, and I know he hasn't officially signed up for the next project yet, but there was some rumors going around. I don't know if you've seen these at all,
I
but
haven't.
there's been some rumors about what his next film might be.
Oh,
And
what is that?
it's a it's a big IP, and it just I don't know if it feels like it's the right time for these things to come together, but apparently right now there is some early talks for Christopher Nolan to direct two upcoming James Bond movies. And I haven't
Really?
found this from like I haven't found this from like it's not like the Hollywood Reporter is putting this out there as a rumor or other, quote unquote like credible, but there have been some stuff and I think the executive producer, one of the producers, Barbara something of like the Bond, franchise IP, somebody who's in control over there is apparently really zeroing in on getting Christopher Nolan to direct James Bond. It feels like that's kind of a match made in heaven. Feels like they're kind of perfect
I
for
was
each
gonna
other.
say that would be
Yeah,
live
for sure.
actually. Go ahead, Sam. That would be live, but go ahead, bro.
No, for sure. I mean, those are the series with, Daniel Craig and even further back, just growing up on, watching that. And, it might be a little different than in terms of his other action movies. It'll be interesting to see if he still incorporates as much time as, his main theme. But like I just mentioned, action is kind of his bread and butter, in terms of, the fighting style and doing it in creative ways more than anyone else. And to hand him over the keys for such a great IP. I mean, we saw what he did with Batman. James Bond is another one that is tough to miss with. So it'll be, I don't know. I did see some of those rumors, and I'm really excited as well because I love the action, and it's been a little bit since we've gotten a James Bond movie. I mean, when did 007 come out? Was that the last one, I think?
No Time to Die?
No Time to Die. Yeah, that was
Is that
let's see.
21? 2020?
Yeah, that's
19?
21. So 2 years,
21?
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I mean this might take 3-4 years. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe half a decade since the last one. So there's a little break, but I'm almost never against any James Bond movie. James Bond
Uh,
content, take it all.
I'm here for that. I actually, fun fact, I've never seen a James Bond movie. Um,
Really?
yeah, no, I don't know, for whatever reason, I just haven't. There's like a couple franchises like that. It's funny because like I'm super into movies now, but like growing up, I realized like there were so many movies I didn't see.
Yeah,
I remember I was like
I
went to
feel
go
that.
like
And
I went to go travel abroad. People have you seen this? Have you seen that? I'm like, hmm. I've watched a lot of '90s
Huh.
black movies. I haven't watched the like that's like most, which makes sense. I'm not mad at that. I'm not saying those are less movies, but it was just like an eye-opening experience. Like, oh, I haven't explored outside of this, so I feel like there's some things like I haven't seen. But everything I know about James Bond, like you said, like I feel like that's a match made in heaven. He can really
Mm.
like explore like the character. I think in some ways that are like different than previously, right? Like at least like what you think about when it comes to James Bond. Like I think, and then again, like he gets to have the action, like set pieces, all that stuff. Like he gets to have that, but then I hope he plays with time. It's my favorite thing that he does. Like ooh, that I'm juiced. I'm juiced. I don't even have words. I'm just juiced. That'd be so fun, bro. That'd be so fun.
yeah, but those are definitely worth a rewatch. Those past ones, and yeah, I am now starting to catch up with those '90s black movies. But like Casino Royale, Skyfall, No Time to Die. I mean, those are definitely some of the most rewatchable movies I've watched. I think Daniel Craig's great in all of them. And I don't know, Rem, do you have any favorite James Bond movies or memories?
Oh, going back to the movie of the decade, if you want to go a sneaky candidate for the 2010s, Devon, I would highly recommend watching Skyfall. It's a great
No,
movie.
I've heard phenomenal things
It's
about
it's
Skyfall.
amazing. And if you're gonna watch
Okay.
one James Bond movie, I would pick that one. Casino Royale is
Okay.
good too. Casino Royale is more of like a traditional James
Yeah.
Bond movie if you want to kind of get
Okay.
like that spy kind of vibe. But
Got you.
Skyfall is the best one. Skyfall's the best one.
Who
I feel like
directed Skyfall?
Skyfall, I believe it was Sam Mendes. If I'm getting
Oh
that
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sam
The
Mendes, yeah.
Okay, sweet. No, I'm about to
1917.
check that out. Okay, sweet.
Oh yeah, that's great.
1917. I
Love
have
that movie.
thoughts. We don't have to get into that
Oh,
today.
all right, all right.
I have thoughts. but nah, okay, bet. I'm gonna definitely check that out. I'm gonna definitely that's sweet, bro. Like, because yeah, no, I've heard good things, and I think that's one of the things about like the big franchises, like where do you start? So I'm gonna start with Skyfall. I'll let you know. I'll let you know what
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I might rewatch it anyway. Like I've never watched it. I don't know.
Just go. Oh no, we should link up and watch it, bro. Like we should do
I don't
that.
know. All right. Well, we'll
Hmm.
have to. We'll have to make it happen.
Yeah, we should link up and watch that. That'd be fun.
Oh.
That'd be fun.
We'll invite you too. We'll throw you on the Zoom. Or there's
Oh,
gotta be
okay.
some
Count me
group
in.
watch thing.
That'd be fun. That'd be
I'll
sweet.
probably already be watching it. I love that movie. That movie is one of my favorites.
So,
Okay,
The
sweet.
top 10 for me. The top 10.
all
If you
right.
if
Well,
you if you like that movie, I mean that movie I think is like a if that's like you'll just like know like exactly the type of movie that I like. I mean
Okay.
it is in that Nolan vein. It's in that Nolan
yeah.
vein of action movie, but you watch it and you feel like you're watching, a prestige film. Like it has
Mm,
that
hmm
vibe to it. And I
That's a
think it
good way
holds
to
up.
describe it. Okay, sweet.
I think it holds up. Couple of shots. It's got Javier Bardem playing an amazing villain. I don't know if you have any Javier
Hmm
Bardem stock.
Mhm.
No,
Oh,
I've
I
heard
wanted.
about this performance though. I've heard about that
Yeah,
performance in like Skyfall.
I did want to ask you too, going back to Tenet, because that movie is one of that's like the one movie that Nolan has directed as a mainstream guy that didn't really have a moment. And with the Oppenheimer thing, we saw like Cillian Murphy sort of get his moment, and the Oscars will roll around. He'll probably get a Best Actor nom for this type of stuff. But with Tenet, with that just whole thing kind of getting washed away, it felt like John David Washington just missed out on a moment that he should have. I love him in that movie. There's a movie coming out this month called The Creator that he's starring in, and I'm very
going to see it
excited
next
for.
Thursday. Got my tickets today. Next
Oh,
Thursday.
I want to know. Do you have JD? Do you have stock? JDW stock?
Oh yeah, no, for sure,
Good.
for sure.
Good.
Like, I think. Have you seen Oh,
With
I'm
Spike
tripping.
Lee, Black Klansman.
No,
That's a
he's
good
really good in that too. Oh,
That was
I'm
the
tripping.
first. That
That's
was my
crazy.
introduction to him. I think that was
Malcolm
like
and
his big
Marie.
breakout role. What was
Oh,
it?
Malcolm and Marie. Yeah, Malcolm and
No.
Marie. Okay, it's Sam Levinson. It's like creator Euphoria. It actually it almost feels like a project, but it's just him and Zendaya in the movie. It's like a
Oh,
lean,
I know
like
what you're
90
talking about.
minutes. Yeah, it's
on
black and white.
Netflix.
Yeah, like Sam, have you seen it?
No, but it got a
Okay.
57% on Rotten Tomatoes. I
Only
don't
50
know.
I feel
Sources are
like
telling me it's
I
pretty
feel like
bad.
people,
I don't know, man.
I think it's fun, but I do think like you have to like buy in. Like it is just two people in a room having an argument. But I think like if you go in like, okay, I'm gonna watch two people in a room have an argument. How do I make that interesting? Like from that perspective, like I think it's really good. I don't watch it. I know it's not a good relation. Like don't watch it with your girlfriend or anything. Again, like well, to be fair, I watched it with mine. I'm just saying, like, I feel like the movie has potential to start fights. So I feel like I just put that disclaimer out
All
there.
right,
So
all
it's
right.
literally two couples having a fight.
Felt like you're talking
Hopefully
from
you're not talking
experience
out.
here.
Yeah, hopefully not.
No. To be fair, I was saying, let me put that. To be fair, we watched it on the plane together. We were heading to Hawaii. We both loved the movie. We thought it was great. We didn't have any beef. I'm just saying. I just disclaimer. I don't want you to be like, oh, Devaun recommended to watch this movie, and then now you get in an argument. I see the potential, and I just needed to put that out there. Me and my girlfriend had a great time watching that movie.
I think I have a feeling I won't watch it. I got a laundry list of other films that my significant others tell me I need to get on. So yeah,
Okay.
I think it'll be a long while before we even consider that one. But
yeah, just all that to say, like that's like one of the things where like again it's not action, so like you just really get to like watch him act, and I was like, oh, okay, because I'd seen Black Klansman at this point, really enjoyed him in that. Even like going back to Ballers, I think Ballers is the first thing I saw him in. Yeah, so like, yeah, bro, fun times. But so like, and that's when I was like, oh, who's this guy? And then like I heard a story about like one, he's Denzel Washington's son, but also like played like I think he like either tried out for pro ball or played pro ball for a little bit. Yeah, no, like he played at Washington. Like bro, like he's like a legit athlete. Like
now that you say that, that rings a bell. That sounds familiar.
Like he played at UW. Like he's like a legit athlete.
He looks built. I mean.
Yeah, no, he played football. I want to say he was a DB, but I'm not sure. But all to say, yeah, bro, like I definitely think he missed out on a moment, and I think that whole movie is just hurt by COVID. I think
sure,
like absolutely. I mean that's why Nolan leaves Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Like because they drop like they tell him you're not going to drop the movie on streaming, and then they do it anyway. So like, but I think go ahead.
Oh no, I was about to say it looks like Washington actually went to the league, played on the Rams.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he actually played, and then he
NFL
went
jeans.
NFL Europe, playing on Rain 5. So.
Right?
He tried a little football career.
Yeah, bro. Like I was gonna say, bro, like
that's something.
Athlete.
Getting to the league is something,
That's what I'm saying.
Like that.
Did Snoop's kid go to the league?
Did he?
He was D1 for a while.
Yeah, he was. I feel like it didn't happen though, because like I feel like we would have heard about. I feel like it's been enough time where he would have been in there by now.
Dog, not better than Denzel, unfortunately.
Nah, yeah, bro. Tell Snoop he's got to work on his jeans. Start getting them Levi's. I'm just playing. But
I think John David Washington also did a movie, I think last year with like Margot Robbie and Christian Bale. It was a
oh,
David Russell
that's
movie.
is
Amsterdam.
that Amsterdam?
Yeah.
Amsterdam. Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
didn't see that. I didn't see that. I didn't hear good things.
Yeah, that movie didn't go over super well either, but that's a project that you're like, I see why he takes it. It's a couple of big stars, it's a big director. So for his sake, I hope that this creator movie really hits because I
I
have a lot of
do.
John
I
David
do.
Washington stock.
No, I
Damn,
agree.
Rami
I think.
Malek. How did this movie only get 32%? Man, that's yikes.
Oh yeah, it
Anya
has
Joy
so many
Taylor,
people, bro.
Taylor Joy. Those are some good actors. That's tough.
No,
I don't know how
yeah,
you messed that
no,
up.
Yeah,
yeah,
Taylor
it's an
Russell.
all-star cast.
Crazy.
But yeah, definitely have John David Washington stocks. Think he's super talented. Like really, again, like really want, like you said, really want creator to hit because I feel like again, like he should already be there because like
Yeah.
I think that performance in Tenet is like that good, and like back to like him being an athlete, like I feel like very physically demanding performance, and like he
Mm-hmm.
does that part like really well. I think that's why some of the scenes are like believable. Shout out to Robin Pattinson too, like doing his Batman training in Tenet. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah. Do you know about the story about where Robert Pattinson like said he couldn't make it to a shoot one day, and he said he was
Why?
sick or he
What'd
had
he
some
do?
type of emergency. So they're filming Tenet, and Robert Pattinson's like comes up to Nolan's like, "Hey, I can't make this day. I have this emergency or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And then Nolan just goes like, "You're gonna go try for Batman, aren't you?" And Robert Pattinson's like, "Uh,
Oh my
Nolan, do
goodness.
I have any sick days? Do I have
yeah,
any personal
exactly."
days I can take?
Exactly. And he's like, Noah's like, I know all things Warner Brothers, bro. You're trying to put that past me.
Like
Like,
try again. That's funny.
oh, but Rem, what's your number? What's your number four? Like, so, Sam, you said Interstellar. What's your number
Yeah.
four?
Number 4, I had Inception, and then 5, I had Tenet. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I
Oh,
really
so
like.
Interstellar was your three.
Yeah, Interstellar was
Oh,
my
you
3.
really like
Really like the
Interstellar.
sound
Okay, sweet.
score. Yeah, I think the story, again, like I mentioned, like it's not, I think it was really well told in terms of like the different families, stuff like that, like how they treat their families. And then I thought Matthew McConaughey was great in that film as well. Just seeing his journey, the pain, it's just such a wide range of emotions. And I mean, I get the ending. I'm a fan also. That's why I like Nolan movies a lot, of kind of having that loop, the beginning and the end connecting. And then 4, I had Inception, and 5, I had Tenet. I guess the main reason why I had Inception ahead is I'm also a really big fan of like hanging threads, like cliffhanger endings,
Mm.
like
Mm,
where you're not
mm,
100% sure what's going
mm.
on, and you just have where you allow the viewer to decide the ending for themselves, and it's just, and again, Leo was great in that film as well. Just the layers on layers, and I felt like it was probably one of the most easy to understand movies from Nolan. You can actually like track what's going on. It's kind of, I think like each level of the dream is pretty distinct, and like, in the color, stuff like that. But yeah, that's why I have it over Tenet. But it's definitely, yeah, Interstellar. It's just, Interstellar feels like it's just one flowing kind of story. It didn't feel like there's really any breaks. And then I got Oppenheimer at 6. So
Okay, that's at
Six
six.
man
Okay.
yeah,
off the bench.
yeah, off the bench.
Oh,
Not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just, there's
I
greatness out
feel it.
there.
Just in case
Jamal Crawford.
Interstellar goes down with an Achilles.
hey,
Bro,
hey,
too soon.
hey, hey, hey,
Too soon, bro.
hey.
Like, yo, bro, I gave you a
Don't
solid,
listen to him. Please come
I
back
gave you a
on, please.
solid 45 minutes
Don't
in
listen
my
to this man.
pain.
Shots
That's
fired, bro.
wild. Oh, bro, who are you trading Oppenheimer for?
That's tough. All right. Well, I didn't know if you had anything else to throw at Devaun, but thank you for coming on. I think you're the first Jets fan I've ever met, so I had to have you on the pod. They're hard. I at least maybe the only person to admit they're a Jets fan. Who knows? But it's that mixed with film, film love. There's always a place for you here on the pod, as you can see, and hopefully you return, and we'll get maybe in the middle of the season, when you guys are up. You know, who knows? Who knows? I
Oh
believe.
yeah, no,
I still believe in the Jets. You know,
I
let's
appreciate
go
it. I appreciate.
JETS Jets.
Easy to say as a Kansas City fan, but whatever.
That's crazy. That's
But
crazy.
no, I'm saying that you was giving me optimism, but I just threw you on there. But that was not needed. I apologize.
Yeah, okay.
I'm hurt people. Hurt people. You know. I'm sorry. I'm hurting right now.
You know, we get it. It's fine. I just have irrational confidence in Mahomes. You know, it's just he's just, and I, kind of have reason too. So, and even
All
if he
three.
doesn't, like win another one, if he's just like decent, we get a couple more conference championship games, a Super Bowl too. I mean, he's still a Hall of Famer. So,
Oh yeah, bro. Like
he'll
yeah,
win.
bro. That Super Bowl loss, like against Tampa. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
know we're wrapping up, but
No, you're all
that
good.
was those are some of the best incompletions I've ever seen.
Mhm.
Yeah, ever.
That shit was insane. Like he throws the ball parallel to the ground and then it hits the
Mm.
receiver in the face. I'm not mad that he didn't catch it. I wouldn't expect the ball to get to me either. Like
Let's just say
parallel to
we're
the
pretty
ground.
happy. We're pretty happy there was no live cams on me during that time. It was a rough time in my life.
Oh, true.
It was not. It was not a good scene. It was not. It was. I mean, it was just. Yeah, tough, tough. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Devaun. It's real pleasure having you. And maybe it'll be interesting to see what these Oppenheimer rankings go. These awards, but anytime you want to come on, just let me know, and we'll get you in here.
Yeah, this was awesome, man. Thanks for having me. Glad to meet you, Rem. Like, super dope. It seemed like we share similar like interests in film and other stuff. So, and this was awesome, Sam. I appreciate y'all. Love to be back on the pod.
Garrett Wilson, Quentin Williams in a first for Mahomes. Who says no? You guys want to duke that one out?
Oh my god.
That
It's time to
is
edit. Cut it. Cut it. We're done. We're done. We're not.
Wait, Devon, you said you had some stuff going on. Is there anything you need to point the people to? Anything you want to
Whoa.
direct people
Plug
towards?
in.
Do you need to shout anything
uh
out? Any
my
plugs?
Instagram. Just working on. I feel like working on. I have some like a short doc in the works, so probably
Hmm.
won't be ready till like early next year. I need to go study for my architecture
You're on
exams.
Instagram, Twitter?
Yeah, yeah. So DM Salters 58 on IG. I
Hmm.
have like just posting like some of my photography, some and the video stuff I'm working on. Just wrapped up a video about some like architecture stuff actually. So that should be on
Hmm.
there shortly. So yeah, like follow me over there and like be a part of the journey. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
thanks.
You said DM what?
DM Salters 58.
All right, about to follow you right now. Can't believe I didn't do it already.
Oh no,
But
so
yeah. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, hopefully we'll get you on soon again.
alrighty, thanks guys. This was awesome.